Do you know any triplets? This one's interesting. I don't think there's a single set of triplets or twins in my entire family, on my mum or my dad's side. I don't know any triplets, but I did know a few sets of twins were in my secondary school, and I used to sort of amuse myself by imagining, because there were a set of twins that one of them worked in a shop at the top of the town and one of them worked in a shop at the bottom of the town, and I always thought it was funny because I would imagine, like, we would get a lot of tourists, and I would imagine like a tourist seeing, you know, one of them at the shop and then trying to leave the town and stopping at the other shop and seeing what they thought was the same person working there. That just sort of amused me. I don't think it ever happened, but I like to think of it. One of these trees is just not looking too good. Titanic or The Notebook? My sisters, we had the DVD, not even the DVD, we had the VHS of Titanic, and I swear to God it must have been on every bloody week. My sister was obsessed with it. We watched The Notebook in my religion class. Don't ask. I think I'm gonna go one further, and I'm gonna suggest an even better movie that I personally prefer, and that is About Time. That's got one of my favourite actors, Donald Gleeson, Irish of course. It's a romantic kind of comedy. He makes it funny anyway, and it's also about time travel. Bill Nye is in it. It's just, I could watch it every day of the week, any day of the week. I absolutely love it, and I think more people should see it. So final answer is In Time. If I have to really stick to this, I would say The Notebook over Titanic, just because I recently found out that there were 11 dogs on the Titanic when it went down, and that's all I could really think of if I were to watch that again, and I'd really rather not do that. Have you ever had Indian food? Yes. Not a huge... I have a lot of heartburn problems, so don't like a lot of very spicy food, but yeah, Indian food. Favourite restaurant? I don't have a particularly favourite restaurant. The nearest Chinese to any location that I'm in is generally my favourite. Have you ever been to Nando's? This one's just so random. Yeah? It's just a chicken place. Do they have Nando's in America? They don't have it here in the UK. Don't know where else they have it. What's something that people always assume incorrectly about you? Well, first of all, every fucking taxi driver, every taxi driver in Dublin thinks I'm American for no fucking reason. I don't know why. No one believes me until they have to get a taxi with me, and then the taxi driver asks, "Oh, what part of America are you from?" And my friends are looking at me like, what the fuck are they talking about? So that, multiple times in my life, people have assumed that an artist, like multiple times where I've been on projects in college and stuff, people have been like, oh, we need someone to draw for this, and I'll be like, okay, she can do that and I'll do this, and I'm like, whoa, I can do what now? And they're always surprised that I've never drawn anything in my life, never taken an art class, never done anything. Apparently I just look the type, which I guess is a compliment in some ways, I don't know. Even when I was working as a waitress and stuff, if they needed like a display for like the food, they'd be like, oh, Gloria can do it. I cannot. Why would you, like, why? I don't know if it's the autism, but it always bothers me when people just assume stuff. It's like, you have literally no reason to assume that. Please do not do that. Name your parents would have picked for you if you had been born a boy. I don't know. I've never asked. I don't know if they ever had an alternative. But given the pattern of me and my siblings' names, it would be something very boring and English sounding. I don't know why we all have very Anglican names. But it'd be something like, you know, like Edward, or possibly something from the Bible. What were the the apostles called? Paul, Simon. I'm pretty sure I only got named Gloria because they'd probably run out after, you know, after 5, and they're all over the hymn books in my church, so I'm sure my dad was just in church going, huh, that's a name, stick that on the birth cert. What's your nickname? I don't have one now. I tried to get Glow, like I tried to get people to call me Glow when I was a teenager. The only one who actually took me up on that was my niece, who was born when I was 12, so she didn't really know any better, poor thing. But when I was a kid, my brother used to call me Hightower, which if you've ever seen Police Academy, you'll know is very accurate, because I was so tall as a 4-year-old, you know. Also, he frequently called me Houdini because if there was even the slightest hint of like dishes or cutlery like clinking together, I would just disappear in a mist, and you'd never see me again until the dishes were finished, because I was not about to help with the dishes. Or if someone was missing their phone, you'd find me in a dark corner of a room playing Snake on it. I used to irritate the hell out of my siblings with that. Who's your favourite person in the world? Jack Black. My favourite person in the world at the minute is my French friend Camille, because he's the only person who I can speak to entirely in cat memes. Just absolute absurdist cat memes. Just weird ass stuff. Would I rather live in the country or the city? So I would rather live in the country. Unfortunately, I can't drive and have no intention of learning to drive, so it's not really an option for me. But I love being in nature, I love being by the sea in particular, and I love just being in silence. I told my housemate recently that when I lived out in the middle of nowhere, I used to just scream whenever I wanted to. Like, and yeah, you could say that's kind of scary that nobody could hear you when you scream, but I'm sure it's the only reason I can sing now, is because I had like unrestricted access to just try and be as loud as possible at all times. Can you whistle? Tell me what movie that's from. What's your karaoke song? Can you guess before I say it? Can you guess? Probably not. But it's one that always amuses people and people always like it. And I like it too. Tribute by Tenacious D. Yes, I have brought Jack Black back into it yet again. He's just great. Tribute by Tenacious D.
We played the best song that came to our heads, and it just so happened to be the best song in the world. It was the best song in the world. Look into my eyes and it's easy to see. 1 and 1 make 2, 2 and 1 make 3. It was destiny.
I love it. I love it. And I do. It's one of the few ones that I go ham on whenever I'm doing it too. Do you eat breakfast every morning? Have I eaten breakfast any morning ever? I don't think so. No, I'm not a breakfast person. I remember in secondary school as well, because I was just really lazy. I wouldn't eat breakfast, and I wouldn't take lunch to school either, and I would just somehow survive. I somehow didn't die during those years, and I just ate when I got home. Secondary school was a weird time, you know? Like, how did I get up every single morning? Like, I had pretty good attendance. I have like no memory of how I actually managed it though. Any daily pills or medication? Yeah, kind of a weird question to be honest, but yes, I do take antidepressants, and I also have a pill for my heartburn. I don't take it every day anymore, but I did have to for a while. but hopefully I can just change my diet and I won't need to take it anymore. What medical conditions do you have? Have you got an hour to sit down and listen to me? I won't go into, it's just really boring to be honest, but one that I will say is when I was 15 I went to the doctor because I had a weird rash on my hands, and the family doctor looked me in the eye and told me that I was allergic to paper. So for the next 10 years I thought I was allergic to paper, and if I annoyed my friends at all, they would just like hold pieces of papers up to my face. I used to be in choir a lot, and I would wear gloves to try and not get this awful rash on my hands. I still have it. I have it on my hands right now. I hate it, but recently I did some of my own research and it turns out I'm not allergic to paper. I just have a certain type of dermatitis that can be triggered by a whole host of things, including paper. So it does show up if I'm reading a particularly long book, you know, like The Stand by Stephen King. It can show up for a whole host of other things, so I'm not actually allergic to paper, but I don't know, allergic to life. How many times have you been to the hospital? I'm guessing this means for like my own reasons. I was in the hospital last week because I had to get an x-ray. I had to get an x-ray on my foot because I went over my ankle. They wanted to see if it was broken. It wasn't. I had to get like 4. Once for surgery, once because I fainted when I was a kid and they didn't know why, even though I knew exactly why and I just didn't tell them. I just got really warm and passed out. But I had to stay in for a week for observation, and they found out I had a heart, an irregular heartbeat. And another time was another foot thing. My right foot is just, it's on its way out. It's gonna go before I do. Have you ever seen Finding Nemo? Yes, I have. Have you ever seen the ending of the Dutch Finding Nemo? Because it is superb. I love it. Every time I see that, it just makes me giggle. Where do you buy your jeans? I don't, well, pennies if I have to, but I kind of stopped wearing jeans a long time ago. Everyone's surprised when I wear my jeans now, which I only do when I've literally nothing else left, just because they're not very comfortable. But most everything that I wear ever is from Killstar. I went on a big buying binge when the pandemic hit and I didn't have to spend my money on anything else. My housemate, I swear he works for them. He's secretly working for them. He gets a commission on everything I buy. He told me about there's a shop that you'll love. I'm like, yeah. Thanks for putting me in debt, Declan. I'm not actually in debt, but I do have a lot of their stuff, so any jewellery or dresses or skirts or this cardigan, which I do love, it is from Killstar. What's the last compliment you got? Someone thought I was wearing, I went to my friend's gig and they thought I was wearing contacts. Not necessarily a compliment, maybe it was an insult, but I'm taking it as a compliment. What colour do you think my eyes are? Sometimes they're blue, but I think they're actually grey. But they kind of look blue sometimes, I don't know. Do you usually remember your dreams? Yes, I do. And I also have lucid dreams as well, where I can kind of make things happen. My dreams tend to be the most random ass stuff ever, or the most absolutely mundane. I used to have the most mundane dreams where I would have to go to my housemate and be like, did I tell you to get bin bags yesterday? And he would say no, and I would have to go, okay, I just dreamed that I told you to get bin bags, but it was very real, almost like a memory. Bizarre. Is a useless skill you would like to have? I've been trying to do for years, and I hate teenage boys for this very reason. I've always wanted to do the twirly pen thing. So this is the current skill I'm at, and I've been trying to do this since I think secondary school or maybe college. And like I'll just sit there at work just trying to do it, and then you have these 14-year-old boys that are just whipping it round like their life depends on it. And I don't know, does anyone have any tips on learning how to do this better? I don't know why I want to do it, I do. A skill that you would love to master. I would love to master piano. I love to play piano. I can mess about a little bit on keyboard, but I would really love to properly play piano and be able to like improvise and stuff myself. That would be cool. How many pairs of shoes do you own? More than I should, I think. I've got my rollerblades, my platforms, which almost broke my ankle. Got my shining Converse, my heels that I only bought because they look like Beyonce shoes. I have my burlesque heels, my pin-up heels, some salsa dancing shoes that I bought that are way too slippery to actually use very well. I have my ballet flats that everyone hates, but they're just good for taking the bins out, okay? How old were you when you found out Santa wasn't real? I don't remember a specific memory of finding out Santa wasn't real. I think I was always sort of skeptical and suspicious anyway, just because all my siblings were older than me, so I could tell that they were doing something. I was a very suspicious child, and they were up to something. I knew it. I don't remember a specific memory. I do remember though seeing my mother like open me and my sister's bedroom door to check that we were asleep, and I could see under her arm she had a wrapped gift, and it had the same wrapping paper that Santa had the next day. So I think I learned that way. Or my sister had a bit of a not so great friend who I think probably confirmed it for me at some point. But I really hate the idea of Santa anyway. This is like, I have no intention of ever having children, but I've never liked the idea of this. Just, you have to lie to your kid, and because even if you don't want to lie to your kid, if you don't, you're one of the bad parents, because your kid's going to tell the other kids that Santa isn't real, and then that's your fault because those parents didn't lie to their kids. And I'm just like, you can have presents and stuff and have Kill Christmas without lying about some weirdo breaking into your house every year. And the final question, I think this was originally for blogs, not even YouTube, but the final question is, why do you have a blog or YouTube channel? I started it to I needed to do something. I don't know, I think I was trying to push myself to be more facial, more expressive. This was before I got my autism diagnosis, so I was trying to push myself and force myself to do things, thinking that that would change me in some way, not realizing that that's just the way I naturally was. I think I started it because I wanted to read more books, I wanted to interact with more bookish people, and I wanted something else to push me to write as well. And it's taken a little while to get settled and stuff and do what I want to do on here, through no fault of anyone else's but just mine. But I feel quite comfortable here now, and I am doing some writing as well. So oh, I have to go live in a second. That is the last question though. And I also have finished my painting. I shall put up the actual one on screen, but this, my copying of it, this tree didn't come out so well. This one looked okay, but I think that worked out quite well. I think it's good. I could add some more details and stuff, but for now I think I am done ski. I'm not going to clean up. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you're having a good day, a good month, a good life. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you to Alan. Thank you to everyone else who has been a regular viewer or commenter or anything. And I look forward to seeing you in many more videos to come.